Warning, warning, seek immediate shelter. Level 4 cellular warheads detected. Seek immediate shelter. Warning, level 4 salt detected. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. Repeat, cancerous salt incoming. Seek immediate cover. Warning, warning, seek immediate shelter.
So if you spend more than 15 minutes on my channel, you will very quickly learn that this isn't exactly my first time with dealing with toxic fallout. And I suspect that this video, hell, the next sentence I say, will provide even more to add to that pile. So here it goes. I cannot support the idea of #BelieveAllVictims. Because yes, I do believe that we should listen to all victims, but humans seem to have this awfully bad tendency of lying. Or at the very least, throw out these allegations that can ruin people's lives without so much as providing a single shred of evidence. You want to take a guess on how this one's been going down so far? This happened about a week or so ago when this was wafted under my nose by Truth Sleuth, so thank you very much for providing this. Showing a tweet thread from a friend of one of MamaMax's exes, Paulina, attaching screenshots of her Instagram stories where she goes on to accuse MamaMax of basically anything and everything she possibly could. I clearly need time to process everything. Also, I don't feel physically safe where I live, because Max knows the location and has given away my personal information without my consent in the past. To his new girlfriend, actually, LMAO, during one of many conversations they've had about me while I was still dating him. Fucking ouch. And I don't trust him at all anymore with knowing where I live. Because Max doesn't actually care about the safety of his loved ones. I'm sorry guys, I was being harassed and stalked online for months and he barely lifted a finger. Much of his own friend group trashed me constantly, and he joined in. I was struggling so hard with my health, and when I asked for something as simple as a hug, or for him to hold my hand as I lie in pain, he told me I was getting in the way of his videos. I never felt more isolated and guilty of existing in my life, and it never got better. The person he gave my info to, this girl who he once told me was a lot like you, even looked like you. Don't worry, Paul, you're way prettier though. Ugh. Has a history of harassing people, including my friends, and now he's just done a total switcheroo and replaced me like a prop on his sets. Lol, fucking hell. Fuck that whole friend group. I've seen the disgusting things you've said. I'm not afraid of your bullshit intimidation attempts. When I am ready and feel safe, I will say everything that's been weighing on me, so this year of pain and mistreatment I went through can stop haunting me. Sorry, I type a lot when I speak. Everything just gets garbled together. He treated me like I was crazy for being wary about this assistant. He screamed at me and threatened to break up with me on the spot the one time I voiced discomfort with her non-consensually stalking my accounts for his work. Near the end of our relationship, every time I walked by his computer screen, it seemed like I could see my name in their DMs, along with flirty messages. I asked once if I could see what they were talking about, and he suddenly got really defensive and demanded to see every single one of my DMs if I had to look at the one of his assistant. He broke up with me the day after, citing how he doesn't trust me. Projection? I was right. I was fucking right. Whatever, you can fucking keep him. I am not the one at loss. Thanks so much for all the support. Genuinely, I legitimately couldn't tell for so long if I had the right to be angry or upset. I was always made to feel unhinged and ridiculous for having emotions, boundaries, and my own needs. To hear that even this sliver of the bullshit I dealt with is horrifying is so grounding. For so long it was, I'm a destructive mess no matter how hard I try, and Max is the poor chap who has to put up with me. I was isolated, all my friends were Max's friends, and, no offence, all of Max's friends seemed to be yes men. He manufactures his friend group by weeding out anyone who criticises him too much, but reaching out to people outside of that awful bubble and hearing what's real has been so healing. Thank you so much. It felt like a huge weight fell off my chest when both my therapist and psychiatrist said, without me even getting into the specifics of my relationship, that they could just tell. My therapist asked why my relationship ended, and I said, I really said I was ill and he couldn't take care of me, so it just didn't work out. She corrected me by saying he chose not to. I was like, damn sis, go off. Then my psychiatrist I've been seeing for the past year said he felt that this was going to happen because he noticed Max never once cared to speak with him about my conditions or progress or anything. It was very much, you've got issues, go deal with them yourself before I deem you worthy enough of my support. Wouldn't even lend me $5 once to finish the copy of one of my appointments because he worried I would get used to free handouts. Yeah, $5. LMFAO. Anyway, still not everything, but God, it just keeps flooding out and it feels so great just getting this off my chest. Still haven't even touched the woman shelter situation, which I would love to hear Max try to explain away in any sense that doesn't make him look like a fucking shitwad. LMAO, maybe one day. Sorry, maybe one day, as in maybe one day I'll find the words to actually get into the whole debacle. For now, I should probably try to focus on something else for a while. Thanks so much. You folks are so cool. I fucking love compassionate people. And all the strong young people who have such a vivid sense of right and wrong. Keep that fire. Remember your worth. It protects you from getting used and abused by assholes like this. Fucking love you, folks. I'm certain she would have gone on to blame Max for a rainy day when the forecast said nothing but sunshine. From accusing him of stalking, harassing, doxing, abuse, infidelity. It was like she was assembling the affinity stones of shitty boyfriends. But here's the thing, you want to know what she used to help back up all of these claims of hers? You're fucking looking at it. It is literally this Instagram story and nothing fucking else. I cannot express my utter hatred for this kind of practice. A practice that for some reason is getting more and more rewarded. That we can somehow accuse anyone of literally whatever we want in the hopes of ruining their life or to better their own. And she can't be bothered to even try to back up the claims that she's making. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I do in fact have more than 20 functional brain cells, so I may be asking a little too much from these kinds of people. But if I'm going to come out swinging with allegations this severe, you better believe that I'm going to do everything I can to help the people who are watching or listening or reading connect the dots as easy as possible. It's why I do what I can to source and reference the materials I talk about in all of my videos, so that you can all go and examine and cross-reference what I'm saying at the ease of a single click. So I started doing the dirty work that no one else seems to want to do in this shithole, and I started asking the questions, including to Max himself, and I found myself some answers. Not exactly the ones that she wanted me to find, but I found them. Hell, even I went a little too deep in the rabbit hole and Max introduced me to more than just Polina. No, it turns out there are in fact multiple girls accusing Max of some shit, all equally as empty of substance as their area in their skulls. We got Lucy over here saying that Max was griefing her by sending packages to her house, that there are people with restraining orders against him, that there are multiple victims of his that have supposedly been raped also, that he lied about his age to manipulate her, and that he... I can't believe I'm gonna have to fucking say this. That Max made his channel dedicated to hunting down paedophiles in an attempt to master YouTube search engine to block out any allegations that come up against him. I fucking can't. And then we have Olivia, who claims that Max assaulted her, breaking an entry into her house when she was home alone, locked her in her room, began screaming at her and breaking her property, threatening suicide, accusing her of being a murderer to their unborn child, and that he tried to make forceful advances on her in the cinema.
It actually wasn't news at all because it was never really talked about. But he was abusive and manipulative to his ex-girlfriend. And I got curious, how do you know this? I'm his ex-girlfriend. And here's proof of that. Yes, it's me. And I don't really got time to talk about what he did within the relationship, but I'm going to talk about what he did after the relationship. So we started dating in December of 2018, and I broke up with him in September of 2019 and kicked him out of my house because, yes, we did live together. But when we broke up, he would show up at my house for like a week at like 3, 4, 5 a.m. until my mom was finally like, look, dude, I'm going to call the cops. And then he threatened to unalive himself if I didn't get back together with him and told me that I had K-word or unborn children. He literally called me a murderer for the kids we didn't even have. And I hate to throw mental illness around like that, but I'm being dead for real when I say that he is a narcissist, because what kind of behavior is that? I was 18, freshly 18 when we first met, and he's 6 years older than me, by the way. And we were friends for about a month before we started dating, and he was very, very well aware of my severe anxiety disorder and the fact that I was a virgin. Like, very virgin. Like, never even held a boy's hand virgin. And I think he saw me as, like, bait. But then after that, I felt bad because he's, like, really good at being manipulative. And I was like, okay, but can we just be friends? And then, because we were friends, I told him, by the way, I slept with someone else. And then, that pissed him off so much that he told all of his friends, literally told all of his friends, because they were unaware that we broke up at the time, that I cheated on him. He told everyone that I cheated on him. And then all of his 15, 13-year-old fans told me to unalive myself. Which, by the way, one of his friends recently contacted me and said, you're right, this mother effer sucks. And I was like, wish you would have believed me when I told you. And he was like, I'm so sorry. It's just so hard to imagine, like, your friend being this kind of person. And here's a little bit of that. And then one day, because he did live with me in my family home, so he knew everyone's schedule, he came in when he knew all my family members were at work and it was just me. And he came into my house and he locked me in my room and he told me, why would you do this to me? How could you betray me like this? And he started grabbing my necklaces that were hanging on the wall and he threw them at me. And I'm sitting on my bed crying, by the way. And then he grabs a webcam, his webcam, old webcam, and he throws it at me and it breaks because he threw it so hard. And then I try to leave my room to run out of my house, but he grabs me and doesn't let me leave. And eventually he did let me go because he knew my family was going to be home soon. And just so y'all know, my parents loved him because I never told them anything that happened. But he's so good at making people love him. And by the way, he's like really good at making people love him. So my parents adored him and never, like, because I never ever told them nothing. And so I sat my family down and I told my mom, my dad, everything that happened. This was like maybe 6 months after we broke up. And I don't ever see my dad cry. And I still didn't. It was more like he got teary-eyed, but still, that's like a lot for my dad. Anyways, fast forward like a lot. Max somehow convinces me to forgive him. And so we're friends. And he tells me, oh, I got Tinder and I effed all these B words and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, why are you telling me this? Because when I had sex with one boy, you made it the biggest deal of all. And now you're telling me you slept with 7 different women and it's just like, what? And then he tells me, I just did it to make you jealous. I was like, oh, so you didn't really sleep with all these women? No, I really did. That's not, I don't know if you know how jealousy works, but that ain't the way to do it. Anyways, I finally break up with this other guy that I was seeing, and me and Max were friends within that whole relationship. Anyways, it's weird. And then Max was like, let's go to the movies. I was like, okay, but it's not a date. And he's like, okay, it's not a date. And then wraps his arms around me, knows how uncomfortable I am, blah, blah, blah. And then we finally, he drops me off. And I know y'all thinking, why did she give him another chance after everything he did? I swear to God, he's just so good at manipulating. And I would never do this now. Like, I'm so self-aware now that I would never do it if it happened to me today. But, like, at the time. Anyway, so we're sitting in my bed, and I was like, oh, I want to show you this new country song that I'm, like, so obsessed with. And I'm, like, jamming, and I'm closing my eyes, and my room is dark, and there's just, like, LEDs or whatever. And, he kisses me. And I'm like, you need to leave. For real, like, go. Like, I don't want to see you again. Like, you know, I don't fuck with you like that. Like, why would you do this? And he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I thought, like, in the moment that this is what you wanted. And I was like, no, because I made myself so clear on what I was comfortable with. And you knew, you were so well aware of my boundaries. And you crossed it, and you disrespected me. Like, you need to leave. And then, okay, now we're going to start talking about when he presses charges against me for him being a piece of shit.
Now, you guys know me by now. When it comes to this sort of shit, I love nothing more than ripping apart the videos, cross-referencing all the things they say, and take it bit by bit to completely dissolve their bullshit. But how the fuck can I do that now? How do I cross-reference evidence from a total of 3 different victims that can fit into a hamster's fucking paw? A total of 1 screenshot was shared in all of these accusations, and that was from one of Max's ex-friends who then agreed that they don't particularly like him anymore. I know, convincing as all hell. But then again, this does come from the person who obviously tried to crop the image in order to save the person's name being in the screenshot, but left their actual fucking @ in the screenshot. So maybe she's just playing on a different level to me and I'm actually the scrub, who knows? Absolutely no one should have picked up this story as is and even humoured the idea that this could have possibly even been remotely legitimate. But they did. MamaMax exposed. Huge allegations surface. I try and limit the amount of punching down I do because, yes, we all end up taking on stupid topics on our way up, and I'm sure I'm going to have more than a few myself in the future. And whilst it's fortunate that no one else has picked this up yet, this is the example I need to prove to show how bad this can be.
So, wow, this is all huge. I mean, if any of that stuff is correct about MamaMax, it's criminal. I mean, if it's true, which is the point about this. I mean, MamaMax makes content trying to expose predators and started a whole movement on YouTube about how YouTube protects predators.
He's doing just enough to keep himself on the right side of a libel case. That beautiful word, if. If this is true, then this is criminal, this is disgusting, he should be put in a cage. Blah! But your evidence is a fucking tweet. Is that all that's needed? Okay, be right back. Let me just get a little tweet out saying that Captain Birdseye diddled me when I was 12 with a rusty hook. What? This is an allegation now, after all? Are you going to start questioning my trauma all of a sudden? You should just believe it because I fucking said it. Hell, I might even take it to the next step and start amending the ages I reference when I realise that I can be quite easily caught out for being a fucking liar. What, you couldn't be bothered to find this tweet for your video either? This is probably going to be a hot take, so brace yourself. False allegations of crimes like this that are so emotionally stirring, in my opinion, could quite possibly be one of the worst cases of abuse you can do to another person. Because if the result that you desire becomes true, that everyone believes you and they all demonise that person, that's never going away. That's their livelihood, gone forever. That stigma will never leave. You're going to isolate them from their friends, from their families, from being able to put food on the fucking table. You might as well put the 45 in their mouth and pull the fucking trigger yourself. I can't begin to describe just how pleased I am to see how the situation with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard is going. That it's getting so much publicity, so much attention, and people are starting to realise that, oh shit, women can be just as much of abusers and pieces of shit as men can be as well. But I'm also so glad to see that finally we're getting people willing to speak up for Johnny, calling out all of the bollocks that bed squatter made. But guess what? The damage is already done. The cat's out of the bag. And it's probably going to take what little money he has left now that he has no jobs to go for because of her. And then he'll be at the mercy of movie industries hiring him or not, which they should, but there's no guarantee of that. Let me just be clear, this channel is entirely meaningless. I'm just an over-opinionated fat fuck on the internet finding things to rant and talk about and try and make it vaguely entertaining for you guys. But if I could ever be in a position to do something of value, you better believe that I'm going to fucking do it, and that's exactly what this video is. And with a week of course in Max, I finally got him to talk to me about it, and give me permission to publicise this after. I've tried to make this as thorough as my scrub ass could possibly do. I got 3 testimonies from people close to Max, 2 of which being public figures, the other one being private. Plus there will be a Google Drive down below to counter nearly every accusation all of these people have made. Along with an interview where I play devil's advocate and challenge him directly about all of these allegations against him. And this is bittersweet because, as I've said, I'm a fucking nobody. I bet my bollocks to a barn dance that anyone could have reached out to Max to question him about this. Anyone in the commentary community could have found out this information, but it resorted to me getting in the DMs and start pulling out all the receipts. So I'll tell you what, commentary creators, if you make a video on this afterwards, you're welcome. So with that, let's read the testimony, shall we? Let's get comfortable. Regarding the recent post online from Max's ex-girlfriends Lucy's Twitter, Olivia's TikTok, and Paulina's Instagram. Addressing what Lucy said, Max was with Lucy for over a year. Max was 20 and Lucy was 18. Max was 21 and Lucy was 19. But Lucy was definitely 18 or older, not 17 like she claims. Throughout their long-distance relationship, Lucy would flirt with other guys and ask Max permission to cuddle with them, among other things. Max didn't tell me this himself, a close friend of both of them told me this. It was Max's first relationship. His mum even sent Lucy a beautiful sunflower painting. The relationship was long distance and Lucy wanted to have contact with others. When they broke up, Lucy blocked Max and myself. Lucy and I would DM a lot over Twitter or talk over Discord. And I never heard from him again or saw her online ever again, up until Paulina posted a tweet where Lucy was saying that Max dated high schoolers and was a rapist. I don't think Max stalked Lucy. He may have sent her a package due to the fact she blocked him on everything and had no way to contact her, and Lucy was an adult when they met and knew about Max's age as well, by the way. In regards to the high schooler she speaks of in her tweets and Paulina's Instagram story posts, they are referring to Max's ex-girlfriend Olivia, who was 18 when he met her, and Max was in his early 20s, 22 or younger. I met her many times and we were friends on Instagram. I was 19 at the time and she was a few months younger than me, so definitely not under 18. And she definitely was not in high school. He lived with Olivia and her parents for a while until Olivia cheated on him, then they broke up. Later, Olivia went on to make false rape allegations against Max online, which she later admitted to lying about. The proof exists. Max then dated Paulina online for 2 months and they moved in together in Houston, and he supported her financially for 2 years. She never paid rent or bought groceries. Max paid rent and shared their apartment, as well as took care of her in every way. Paulina was 23 when I met her right after they got together in 2021. Max often told me that she would threaten to hurt herself whenever he tried to break up with her and arranged for her to move back to Washington. She didn't want to move into her dad's house, so Max's mum let her move into her house for a month before Max took her back, and they eventually broke up again. When Max and the 3 ex-girlfriends I mentioned ended their relationship, they all went online afterwards to try and get Max cancelled because he has a YouTube channel. And they wanted some attention for being Max's girlfriend, as well as wanting revenge for the breakup. As someone who's known Max my entire life, I know for a fact he has never physically harmed any of these girls. If anyone was abused or manipulated in these relationships, it was him. I don't think these 3 women abused him physically, but they definitely emotionally manipulated him and were codependent on him, as well as extremely jealous. Even when he would spend time with his family, they often wanted him to leave as soon as they arrived at any family event. All 3 girlfriends did not allow Max to have any female friends as well. Not the healthiest relationships, and both parties are better off not being together. I acknowledge relationships go both ways. Max isn't completely innocent, for he made Lucy, Olivia and Paulina his public girlfriends. He also didn't know Paulina or Olivia very long before moving in with them. It is not wise to move in with people you don't know that well, nor is it wise to accelerate through relationships quickly, but to each their own. All relationships have issues and hurt feelings on both ends. I don't deny these women are emotionally hurt after the relationships, because when immature people are in relationships, that is what happens. But there is no excuse to spread lies about someone online, especially when the accusations are as serious as rape. It takes away validity from actual victims trying to be heard, people who have actually been abused. Not butthurt grown women who didn't get their way when trying to have either 2 relationships at once or just live for free at the expenses of Max and his family. To Olivia and Lucy, I do not know them personally, at least not for many years, and I don't really know anything about them now. But Paulina I knew closely, and I am saddened and offended that she would spread lies about Max. She knows Lucy and Olivia were lying, and Max graciously did not press charges against them, trying to ruin his life. No sympathy for Olivia or Lucy, who wanted their 5 seconds of fame off of trying to cancel Max. Paulina I know has many mental health issues, but she is a grown woman who is responsible for herself and her own actions. Max is not responsible for taking care of her or her mental health. I remember roughly a year ago when I went over Max's one night to just chill. We didn't get to do so very often due to both of our work and other adult shit. Max and Paul were there, and it all seemed chill for a solid 30 minutes of just hanging out and talking before Max offered me to check out his VR headset. And I was down since he had Half-Life Alyx, and I've been meaning to at least try it out. Another 20 minutes fly by during some VR shit, and Paul comes to the other room with us being somewhat curious about the VR stuff, to which both Max and I encourage her to try it out. She played through about 5 minutes of the very beginning of Half-Life Alyx throughout the city with no combat, no flashing lights, nothing, up until some Combine ship takes off next to her. She hears the low frequency booming of it, and she screams so loud that I'm surprised no neighbours called the cops. She was sitting there trembling for the next 30 seconds or so as if someone had robbed her at gunpoint. It was either this same night or during another short VR session night where Max and I encouraged her to get involved with maybe some other VR games, but she didn't budge, so we continued playing Half-Life Alyx. About 30 minutes go by before Alex and I realise Paul is nowhere to be found in the house, so we stop what we're doing and Max called her a few times to no avail until the 6th or so call. It's one thing to tell your significant other, oh yeah, you know, just going for a walk to clear my head, versus what she said along the lines of, if I remember correctly, I'm taking a walk at 2 AM, lol. I don't care if I die, I'm running away, etc. So we quickly confirmed that she was potentially endangering herself and we went out to search for her for about 2 hours around town to hopefully find her walking around alone at night. To which we never found her until she came back home on her own as if nothing happened, just laughing and smiling at us like some mischievous child who just pulled a prank on their parents. That's not even the first time she did that either, running away at night on occasion and scaring Max and her other friends into thinking she'd maybe get lost, hurt herself, get kidnapped, etc. I remember first seeing that mischievous face of hers after we've been out in town for hours looking for her in worry, and it seriously pissed me off. I wanted to tell her right there and then how fucking stupid that was and how it wasn't cute or funny, and that there's people out there who will literally do worse than just kill you, lol. Another thing I experienced sort of firsthand from Paul is how a few months back I began talking to and making friends with a non-binary individual I'm not going to name. They're very cool, by the way. They've told me about their history they have with Max and how they used to game and talk to him regularly up until Paul would get extremely pissy about Max talking to anyone that even resembled a woman. Since Paul took the close enough approach when it comes to gendering people, even though the individual disclosed their gender many times and they were also in a relationship anyway. Lol. And many others have also, due to how obsessive and controlling she's been with Max, seemingly through the entire relationship. Additionally, it seems from her previous statements lately that she never really seemed interested in becoming friends with what she calls Max's yes men, or the people who just so happen to be Max's friends or acquaintances. I can't speak for others, but from me personally, I've tried to connect with her numerous times, and if I remember correctly, we've even had conversations where we've made fun of Max and some of his video shit. But all of that is discounted 100% because it doesn't fit her agenda to cancel Max publicly. And it doesn't fit the narrative of the string of half-truths she's made to manipulate people into thinking Max 100% wronged her and nothing more. This is really just the tip of the iceberg with her. I obviously wasn't there for all of it, I don't want to make this too long, and I know Max is far from perfect, just like everyone else. Though again, for Paul to claim it's all on Max after all she's clearly done to him, soon it will start to bleed some truth, but not in the way she's engineering from her Insta followers. TLDR from Prox, your life was easy because you're white. Paul 2021. From the years I've been around her, conversed with her, and read her online public statements, I've concluded that Paul is unwell, manipulative, spiteful, loves her public platform, loves the drama, and is probably racist, sexist, and transphobic, even though she buries herself with cutesy acceptance yas queen slay bullshit like Hello Kitty or whatever. Fucking Prox is based. Regarding my friend Max, I just wanted to come on record to give some insight regarding the situation unfolding with MamaMax. First off, I'd like to say that Max is genuinely one of the best dudes I know. Since I've known him, he has always been a stand-up guy, and if you've ever listened to him on any podcast, appearances or anything, that's exactly who he is. Easygoing, trustworthy, sometimes a smart ass, but always a genuine friend to those around him. I know it's not exactly my place to be speaking on his personal relationships, but I will say that as with anything, and especially with the case unfolding around him right now, there are two sides to every story. Max has confided in me numerous times on difficult situations that he was backed into regarding his relationship, and from my personal experience, things were absolutely not as bad as it was being claimed. Max was constantly placed in unresolvable situations. Agreements by the other party were made before they even moved here, and they were never fulfilled. Max was quite literally the one supporting the entire relationship, and from my experience, there was zero effort coming from the other side. Nothing. Zip. From a friend's perspective, it was frustrating because I could never hang out with him without him being stressed out. His phone was constantly blowing up. Call after call after call would be rolling in, and he was never really given a life outside of being home with them, which was nearly 24/7. On the off chance that they would come around, which was always encouraged, they'd constantly nag at Max to leave so they could go back home. I know that this is all over the place, however it's hard to put into words exactly how frustrating it was seeing my friend in a relationship in which there was no escape. I've tried to make things work to arrange a trip back home for her, in which Max and I had to pack and move literally all of her things for her while she did nothing. And to come to an actual resolution that wouldn't boil up to this point. However, the effort given by Max was never reciprocated. I'm frustrated in seeing my friend go through this. Believe me or don't, that is up to you. I just know what I've personally witnessed, and I'm sure others can back me up on this too. Now I can already hear it. Oh Craig, you're taking these testimonies at face value, but she won't do the same with hers. Clearly you're showing her bias. Oh yes, bravo. That's what the disclaimer at the beginning of this video was clarifying in regards to my bias with this topic, you dolt. But I have this wonderful little Google Drive down below to have things that corroborate with what they've been saying compared to what the fuck they said. And I urge you guys to all save the file, share it with whoever you can. Because on the outside chances that I've had the wool pulled so cleanly over my eyes in this situation, then there shouldn't be any excuses as to why they can't provide the evidence to counter the things that have been said in this. And let me just say, if it turns out to be the case, then don't worry, I'll be going as nuclear as the rest of you about it as well. But the absolute truth is, I believe Max, and I've seen more than enough to make me comfortably come to that conclusion. But even with that being the case, I still had to ask the hard questions to MamaMax directly, and you're about to see that right now. Now, a disclaimer, any cuts that have been made in the video was purely to keep the consistency and the fluidity and just keep the ball rolling and make it as bearable to go through as possible. Because, well, most of the hiccups were my fault. Because, as I said last time, I'm hardly a skilled interviewer, and in this situation, I was at my girlfriend's place, and so I didn't have all the recording stuff that I have here, so everything was jerry-rigged last minute to try and make it just about work, in all honesty. So if you watch this and you feel like it's been edited in a way to help the narrative go a certain way that perhaps the raw footage wouldn't have been able to do, I'm going to be providing the raw interview in the Google Docs down below with everything else. So if you want to see it in all of its raw, dirty form, it's right there for you. Nothing's going to be hidden here. And with that out of the way, let's get into the interview, shall we? And we are here in the court of #BelieveAllVictims, where we have the wonderful, soft, sweet voice that is MamaMax. Thank you very much for giving me your time again, mate.
Yes. Welcome, everyone, to an exclusive MamaMax cancellation video. Thank you so much for having me, Craig.
The pleasure's all mine. I'm going to try and put your feet to the fire on this one, and basically I want to break down everything that I found on the accusations put against you and see what we find from it.
All right, great. Do you want to analyze my micro expressions so that way you can determine if I'm lying or not?
What I'll do is I'll do what everyone else does, and I'll do it retroactively, and I'll sort of like reference it with everyone else's videos to then pretend that I have any kind of clue what the fuck I'm talking about.
Great.
And then play it off afterwards.
Don't forget the outright lies as well, Craig. Stuff
Oh,
you
yeah, of course.
actually even say. Yeah,
Yes.
don't forget that.
Yeah, I'll just start inserting things that you state and twist your words in any way that I can in order to have a whole load of #MeToos out by the end of the week.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Craig. It means a lot.
All right, we'll start with Olivia then. So the first thing she sort of brings up is that supposedly she broke up with you and kicked you out of her house. Did this happen?
We mutually broke up and I moved out of the house.
Okay, right. Did her mum threaten to call the police on you because you were harassing her at her place in like the twilight hours?
No, I called the police on her because she was harassing me online.
Did you threaten suicide if she didn't get back with you when everything went down?
I don't think so. I sure hope not. Honestly, I don't remember, but that's a stumper. I actually don't remember, but
you could have passed it off potentially like in a sort of like a hysterical act and like hinted at it, or just sort of had word salads, or is there anything that she could have insinuated as you sort of put in on that kind of threatening kind of language?
No, I don't remember doing that at all, but
okay,
I guess her word against mine, whatever.
The other one she brings up, she starts talking about saying that you blamed her for the death of your unborn children.
That is true.
You did say you said that.
Yes, because it's a breakup. Of course, it's going to be toxic, and
Yeah.
she's said shit just as bad. I'm not going to violate her personal shit, but it was a bad breakup. We both said things that we regret. I'm sure she won't take responsibility for it, but
So that's one of the things that you can say that did happen. Was it, if you don't mind me prying a little bit, was it a deliberate thing, or was it an accident, or
it was just like we were both crying and things were intense, and I'm like, you killed our unborn children.
It was just a sort of spur of the moment whilst in an argument. You didn't message her after the fact, being like you're a murderer or anything like that. Like,
no, it wasn't that to that degree. It was more of just like we were both crying and upset, and I was just like. I was like, look what you've done, sort of attitude. It was dumb, but whatever.
I think we've all pretty much done that at this point, so no, fair enough. But what's one? I can't believe I have to ask this. Are you a narcissist?
I'm not diagnosed.
Fair enough then. That was an easy enough question.
I'm sure all my exes will accuse me of that, but
I feel like most exes will accuse exes of being narcissistic.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that like a default thing you want to say to people?
I feel like that's a projection.
It's that, and then your dick's small.
Did she cheat on you, or did the guy that she talks about having sex with, was that on a break?
That was a bit complex because she was talking to the guy while we were together. And then it was like 4 days after we broke up, they had sex. So you tell me if that's cheating. I don't know.
In my opinion, that's morally grey. I would say that's a very grey area on that one. Who is Boy Profligate? Because she brings up screenshots very quickly saying that it's one of your friends being like, you're so right about him, he's such a piece of shit, all this sort of stuff. But she cropped it so badly that she left his fucking at still in the goddamn screenshot.
Oh, lovely. Boy Profligate. That is an ex-friend of mine who I visited to help him with his mental illness stuff. And then he assaulted me at Kings Island. And then I called the cops on him and he got arrested for growing weed at his house, which I don't give a shit, but he assaulted me, so fuck him.
Yeah, so he's not exactly a stable person to be passing judgment on other people if he's going around being a bit spicy.
Correct. I wish no ill will towards him. I'm sure he hates me, but I understand that he is just a dude struggling with his life and I guess was taking it out on me. I think citing him as a credible source.
All right, I think the big accusation she put in is, did you trespass into her house, lock her in a room, and begin screaming, "Why did you do this to me?" and supposedly ripping her necklaces and stuff off the walls? And...
No.
No.
There was a freak out moment where I grabbed my camera, like a USB camera, like a webcam. I grabbed my camera and I threw it at the wall.
She elaborates further on the same instance, saying that during this time, you then got the webcam and threw it at her.
No, I threw it at the wall away from her because I was angry. And it's a webcam I bought, so I was like, whatever. And yeah, it was a moment of passion. And that did happen, but not the locking her in the room didn't happen. Grabbing her necklaces off the walls. Is that what she said?
I think it was the walls or off of her, but she referenced ripping off necklaces. But she also referenced that you waited until the rest of people in her house, her family, were away at work or whatever, and she was at home alone, and you invaded when she was on her own.
Nope.
And, like, locked her in the room.
Anytime I visited her, it was when she invited me over. I never went on my own volition. I would show it if I still had the text messages. She might still have them. If she wants to release the receipts, then please do, because I knew I was always like the one like responding to her invitations.
Right. Okay. So it was you were always welcomed. Then you never trespassed. You never broke entry, and then you certainly didn't lock her in the goddamn room and start screaming, ripping jewelry, and throwing cameras at her.
Correct.
Did you tell her that you were on Tinder and, I quote, fucking all these bitches?
No, well,
after you broke up.
After we broke up, she was asking me if I was seeing anyone, and I told her I was on Tinder. I didn't say fucking all these bitches, but I did tell her I was on Tinder talking to people.
Right, okay, because that was one of her heavy accusations, that you were doing that in order to make her jealous. And her actual quote was "effing all these B words," but you know, TikTok, I can't stand that sort of terminology. So you suppose that you'd said that to her in order to make her feel jealous about, like, well, breaking up with her.
I was only answering her question. I only told her that I was talking to other people on Tinder because she asked, because we were on good terms after we broke up and we're talking about getting back together. Yeah. Which goes into all this stuff with like her, like saying I was holding her hands and shit. That was her doing it with me. Like she's painting it like I'm the creep, but it was very mutual at the time.
I mean, the last probably the biggest accusation of the ones that I saw on her TikTok videos. Did you coerce her into going to the movies and trying to force yourself onto her in a date-like scenario, even though supposedly she declared that it wasn't a date, it was a completely platonic go into watching movies alone with your ex? But like, did you try and force yourself? Did you try and force yourself onto her?
No, I did not try to force myself onto her. It was kind of like a let's see where things are kind of date. Like, she can make it sound as platonic as she wanted, but it was we went to the movies together. I didn't demand her. I didn't force her. She wanted to go see the shitty ass movie. And I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. And then, you know, like the stuff where it's like holding her hand, forcing my hand on hers. Not true. There was shit like her putting her legs on mine and then me offering my hand. Sometimes she'd decline. Sometimes she'd be like, let's see where this goes. See how I feel about it.
Not to put words in your mouth. She was playing the game.
Correct.
She was playing the game as much as you were at the time. Like,
correct.
Right. Okay. I think that was all of the questions I saw in her accusations against you, unless there were other ones that I've missed. Is there something else that she has tried to accuse you of? May I ask?
Well, Craig, let me show you this Google Drive. You're going to notice 3 names. Let me know when you have it open.
I do. Yes, I see the names.
Okay. So since we're on Olivia right now, I would like you to open Ollie Wang, and I would like you to listen to the recording. You can play it for your audience if you want.
I broke up with you literally because you were boring, to say the least. We never hung out. We never did anything. We never saw each other. Even though we lived together, we never did anything. I was bored as shit.
Yeah. I guess it was just the wrong time for me.
Or maybe we just were never supposed to be together.
I mean, that too. Why all the weird accusations though?
Because I'm so tired of seeing these fucking 13-year-olds making fan edits. My ex-boyfriend, who made me go fucking crazy because he was fucking crazy.
So you're being spiteful.
I'm being mad. What if I told the internet you tried to kill me?
That I tried to kill you?
Mm-hmm.
Did I try to kill you?
No.
If it got to the point where people are like, can you respond to this, Max? Then I would be like, it's not true.
Well then.
It's not true.
Yeah.
And there was also, like, she previously had accused me of rape, but she stopped doing that because I guess she realized how serious it was and that you shouldn't lie about rape.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't understand, like, playing the hyperbole, let's say that she was telling the truth for a second, that you did, for a second. Surely, to help her case, she would at least put something out to prove that to be the case. Like, you wouldn't just say it because people don't really want to just believe words these days. So surely you would put stuff out instead of just saying it and saying it over and over and over again in different ways, trying to get as many people as you can in, right?
Well, on top of that, like, just from my experience with getting to know actual rape victims, they don't care about canceling their rapist. They want to either kill the rapist or get the rapist behind bars.
Yeah.
Who wants to cancel their rapist?
True. I mean, last year or two, we've had a lot of people say that they want that, but how many of it is actually real? That's the problem. This is what I hate about this, is that all these people are doing it for either to get someone else to lose fame or get fame off of them. And now it's got to the point where you have to prove it because we can't take people's word for it anymore. You got to prove. You got to show something.
Exactly. And all I'm trying to do is just give my side and provide as much proof that I have against what they're saying.
Yeah.
Even though the burden of proof is on them.
I was going to say, like, the burden proof's on them, and you've already provided more evidence to one case than what I could find on 3 cases to you. So it's
what can you say?
So frustrating to see.
I just realized Ruby's in the shot. I can't have her. That's pandering.
Oh no! God forbid! God forbid!
I can't pander.
We'll put a blur over her. So
thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, then
we'll censor her out. It's fine.
Yeah, please censor her out because I don't. She can't be in this video.
No, absolutely not. That's absolutely disgraceful.
Look at her face. Oh.
No, don't look at her face because that's going to make you feel bad for me. I don't want anyone feeling bad for me.
Do not get emotional attachment to the puppy, okay? There is no we're no heartstring pulling here, all right? This is straight down the line. This is facts. This is a truly aggressive anti-MamaMax interview right now, okay? And everyone, we are fighting the cause. We are trying to catch out this person on his horrible actions, all right? There's no emotional manipulation being involved in this, all right? Was that everything of Olivia's claims that she sort of did, she said about you? Or is there anything else that I've missed?
I think that's it. I mean, I'm sure she'll try to say more once this video's out, but that's...
I can't wait to find out who I've abused, so...
Don't worry, Craig, I'm making the tweet longer.
I'm just going to reset the camera very quickly, guys. I apologise for this.
Oh, should I reset mine now that the joke is over?
Yours is being recorded through OBS, isn't it? Yours is on a timer?
Mine is through OBS, but it was zoomed in on my face so people could read my micro expressions. But I figure maybe my body language also tells a huge story, so maybe I should show my whole body.
True. That's true. Have it all out there. I mean, I think like what's it? The JCS probably would want you like. Sort of like completely stripped down to like tiny bodies so they can see like every sort of micro expression in your sort of like inside thigh muscle or something. It's like, oh, you see he twitched 7 times near his kneecap. That's a clear sign that he was lying in this situation.
I'm just trying to be fully transparent. Unlike them, like I have nothing to hide.
That's fine. And for the record, I did offer you a chance to see these questions beforehand to know what I was going to ask, but you rejected it because you wanted to just be honest about the answers that come to you when I ask you the questions.
Yes. I'm not going to prepare statements on Twitter or on an Instagram story that then don't make sense later on as you keep posting. Like I'm just going to let the truth speak for itself and let people decide who they want to believe.
Okay, so should we move on to Lucy next, would you say? Or Lucy, okay.
So if you open the Lucy folder, you are going to notice that it's almost completely empty. There's one thing on here that I wanted to showcase.
We'll start from the questions that I've got from reading her little tweet, because that was the only one I found myself, was the response to the Paulina. Someone who posted her Instagram story, she responded to saying very similar things about you grieving her with packages, apparently. And apparently these people feel so uncomfortable and stressed out about you knowing where they live. And apparently, according to Lucy, that you were grieving her with sending packages to her house.
Yes, let me answer this. I sent her one package after we broke up because she had requested it before we broke up. So I was like, I guess this is my last chance to do something. I guess I'm just going to send that package she requested of me. Saying I sent multiple packages is a lie.
Is there any grounds to her claim of multiple women with rape allegations against you?
There's Olivia, who you just listened to the recording. And then there's one other person who I'm debating if I should even talk about because she has not said anything during this whole recent debacle. But she is someone who has accused me publicly before, and I do have evidence against her. But if she's not going to keep harassing me, then I'm not going to bring her up.
That's fair. That's fair enough then.
But if she ever wants to bring it up again, I'm more than happy to address all of that.
But there's no other people that she could even be vaguely clutching at straws for in saying that these allegations.
Unless she's talking about a pedo group pretending to be a girl accusing me of rape or some shit like that, then no.
Right.
I only know about Olivia and the other ex.
The other person.
Yeah.
Right. Does anyone have a restraining order against you?
No, and people who know my real name and address can fact check that. I do not.
Then we go into the talking about the ages and stuff. That was the screenshot you sent me showing that she basically was a little bit loose with the facts in her comment. How old were you when you got together with her?
I was 20.
I was 20. And how old was she?
18. I want to continue on.
Oh, please do.
I have a lot to say about this.
By all means.
Yes, she was 18, or at least that's what she told me, and I was 20, right?
Right.
But even if she lied to me about her age and she was 17, one, the age of consent in both Texas and Tasmania is 17. And two, it's a 3-year age difference instead of a 2-year age difference.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! Call the feds, everyone! Oh my God!
I mean, anyone in the commentary community is probably familiar now with a freaking 3-year age gap and it being not as important as everyone fucking makes it out to be. So,
if a 3-year age difference with her parents knowing that we are dating, her grandparents knowing we are dating, the entire internet knowing we are dating is grooming.
You know what? You're done. Like everyone in
everyone on the fucking earth is done.
Everyone's cancelled. Yeah, it's so stupid of an argument to make. I had that recently talking about the Carson drama, and I've had people being like, "Oh, you're defending paedophiles," and it's like, excuse me. Did you make your channel revolving around hunting out paedophiles just to mask out allegations against you?
Yeah, I'm flooding the search engine with one video every 9 months about pedophiles and also animal abusers, because I must also be an animal abuser as well, right?
Of course, absolutely.
By that
that's
logic,
the content you make. Therefore, you must also be one. That makes so much sense in my mind right now.
Incredible detective work, Lucy. Proud of you.
It really is. That is 189 IQ right there. That is like fantastic 4D chess plays.
Also, wait. I forgot something. I do want to address her saying I lied about my age.
Okay.
So,
by all means, please.
So publicly, I do not give out my actual birthday. I always make up a fake birthday. Right. So technically, did I lie about my age? Yes, publicly. But when we started dating, I told her, hey, I'm not actually 18. I'm 20. And she's like, okay, well, can you post on Twitter that you lied about being 18? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I posted on my old Twitter account. You might be able to find it somewhere. That I'm like, sorry about lying about 18, everyone. And then we continued dating for 2.5 years. So clearly it wasn't an issue.
I was going to say, so if you've dated for that long, then it wasn't an issue to begin with. And you also went from being an adult to being a slightly older adult.
Yeah, it didn't become a problem until after we broke up and until after I made a video about her. Which was my Life Sucks Depression video. And that's when I'm a pedophile. Okay.
Right, of course, yes. There was no spite or anything. She just realised that she was a victim retroactively. And then the last one, which was, I mean, it was just comical reading through it to begin with. But I'll try and be super serious, like anti-lawyer against you right now.
Okay.
About Paulina's Instagram stories, the one that started getting the sort of like quite the most traction, I think. At least that's one I saw started to really pop up all of the other follow-on stories, at least recently. Does she have any legitimate reason as to not feel safe in her home because you know where she lives? Like, that was one of her like crux arguments, that she doesn't feel safe where she is because you know where she is.
I have never given her any reason to not feel safe. Like, I have only ever been nice to her. And the reason why she hasn't released any evidence is because there is none. If she released the entirety of our DM history, it would make me look like the good guy. That is why she has not released anything. And we're going to go into it in just a sec. Have you opened up the POW folder?
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lordy. Okay, this is a few folders.
Yeah. So thank you to my team for putting this together. Some of this I didn't even know she was doing. But a lot of it, if you look at any of our DMs, I have been nothing but nice to her, and she is, you can decide for yourself.
Yeah. Are you okay with me using this Google Drive link for other people to see as well?
Yes, I want you to put it in the description because
I will do. I'll be putting this in as well for everyone to read themselves.
I don't like bringing private shit into the public, but they already brought it into the public. So.
Yeah, your hand's been forced. Like, this is one of the things that pisses me off about these kind of accusations. Everything else seems to be innocent till proven guilty, but somehow when it comes to spousal abuse, sexual abuse, paedophilia, for a better term, it's all guilty until proven innocent. And how can you prove something you didn't do?
Exactly.
Unless the person who's accusing you is so stupid that you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different folders of different things showing that, yeah.
My favorite folder is the racism folder. Oh boy, that's spicy.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit I didn't even know she was doing. That's stuff my team found. I don't even want to speak on that because...
No, I don't blame you, because I was just reading a few of these myself, and yeah, they're spicy. They are spicy. Have you doxed her at any time?
No.
No.
She's doxed herself and me several different times. And there's proof in these folders that me and my team have warned her and told her to take shit down that was on her public Instagram that she then didn't take down, that she then paid the consequences for, and then blamed me for it. As if I had something to do with her getting doxxed. Most of the people in these folders are like either relatives, friends, or people who know her personally from my Discord server, like my team or mutual friends.
So you basically tried to sort of like give her a heads up multiple times that this is public, you need to close it down before people get hold of it. She didn't listen. She found out the consequences, and then it was your fault.
It was my fault because I'm the public figure, and anytime something happens to us, it's my fault, even though people have been stalking her way before her and I met.
She was spicy online before you guys were even together.
Correct. I am not the first YouTuber she dated. I'm not going to go into that. I don't want to get too personal into her life.
Of course.
There's proof of this on the internet, like on lolcow. You can see threads of her way before we even dated.
She doesn't have a leg to stand on that argument. You can't even twist it to be that you quote unquote doxed her. Like, that's just not even possible. She was already doxed before you got together.
Yes.
Right. Was there anything going on with your then assistant, now girlfriend, during the time you were dating her?
I'm not going to go too much into my team because I don't want to bring them into it. I'm going to keep them out. If I'm going to talk about me. So, no, when we broke up, I broke up with her because she wouldn't show me her DMs, even though I was always more than happy to show her my DMs. Like, you can see my computer is in the middle of my bedroom that she was in. And she even said in her stories, she would walk by the computer and see what I was talking about. I've never, ever tried to hide anything from her. She always had access to my phone. She knew my passcode. I didn't know hers. And the one time I asked her, hey, can I see what you're saying on your DMs? She refused, and I broke up with her. Granted, she did ask me what I was saying to my team.
Yeah.
And I told her, sure, if you show me what you're saying to all these boys you're talking to. She refused. And that's when I broke up with her.
You want me to put your feet to the fire on this this little discussion, right?
Please.
One of the things I know of people who have done that in the past to me was because it was like a double bluff. Did you do it in a way that you knew that she wasn't going to hand you her DMs?
Nope.
So it was like a safe in yourself. It was literal.
I literally shot
you. To show her.
I thought she was going to show me. I literally thought
she...
And when she didn't, I was like, bye. Like,
fair enough. Then.
I was shocked. There's proof of me telling her that, like, I can't trust her anymore in the, where I offered to move her, where I offered to pay to move her. I literally sent her like a very heartfelt message after we broke up, like, hey, I love you, but what you did was kind of shitty and I can't be with you anymore.
I wanted to ask that question because I know other people who have done that in the past be like, oh, well, I'll show you this, but only if you show me that thing that I know you're not going to show me. Sort of thing. But
I don't know. I mean, I stayed with her for a year.
Yeah.
And you can see the kind of behavior I put up with. Like, I loved her. I loved this girl very much.
Yeah, I could. You can tell that
there was nothing going on with me. Like, I literally just was like, I was getting insecure because, like I said, she was talking to all these boys. She would hide in the bathroom and talk to these boys on one of these Discord servers and flirt with them. It was the perfect moment because she's like, let me see what you're saying. And I'm like, okay, let me see what you're saying.
I think that piss anyone off, honestly.
Yeah, we have been single for 3 to 4 months. I can date whoever I want.
Yeah.
I mean, legal adults, of course.
Of course, yeah. Naturally.
I don't know what she's trying to. I think she's trying to spin it like I was cheating on her. I wasn't.
Yeah.
If anything, she was cheating on me.
She's trying to play it backwards.
Yeah,
Play the Uno reverse.
Yeah, and after that happens, like I'm like, okay, fuck this. I'm gonna date whoever I want because you're doing this shit. I also just want to say she was insecure of any person she deemed a female. Like, I was not allowed to talk to females at all unless she like knew them personally and got to befriend them.
Right. Yeah. Because she actually brings up something similar about you to her having friends. That what was the line? Apparently, you were chatting shit about her friends. Also, a lack of care due to her online harassment. So, according to her, you had no love for her friends. All of her friends eventually came from your friends, and she filtered out all those sort of people, and that you were emotionally cold to her request for support.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just not true. So there's a few statements in the evidence folder. That's the one. That's the main folder. You're gonna see a few statements made by personal friends who got to know us, like who met her in person and tried to be friends with her. This is their statements. I'm going to get more statements from more people as we ask more people, but you could just read these statements and decide for yourself.
Did anyone of that you know of in your friend group or anything harass her in any way?
No, no. So she's accusing the people that are on Kiwi Farms and the people who are on LolCow being my friends. Even
right.
Though,
so you're friends with Mr. LolCow himself, are you?
Right. No. Yeah. So
right.
she blames that on me and my friends as if we are the ones harassing her. But like I said, there is evidence of people harassing her and stalking her way before her and I even met.
Right.
We have only been doing things to try to help her for that to not happen. Like you see, like we warned her, hey, you got to take this stuff down. She refused, and she paid the consequences for it, and is now accusing my team of the ones. Oh my God! It just.
Yeah, because that was another sort of follow-on. She also claimed that your team stalked her, and
yes,
I'm guessing that's also bullshit as well. Yeah.
Well, okay. If stalking means looking at her Instagram and seeing what things need to be taken down, if that counts as stalking, then that's the only stalking that occurred. Was my team looking at her page to see what is a security risk, and then relaying that to me to tell her.
That's just that. That's not stalking. That's so ridiculous.
No, why would we? I know where she lives. Why would any of us stalk her online?
That was one thing that I was questioning, saying that like you knew where she was. Everyone apparently in your team knew where she was, yet apparently you was continuing to stalk her and harass her. And like, why?
Exactly.
What would be the gain?
And
exactly?
if we were the ones doing it, why would we have not posted her address on like LolCow or Kiwi Farms? We know that information. I mean, I would deliver her meds when she needed them because I knew where she lived, and she would ask me to get her meds. Even after we broke up, I was getting her meds and going to her house.
So when you were helping her get her pharmaceuticals, you weren't a risk then. You weren't a danger to her safety or where she lived. But afterwards, when she started going your own way, suddenly then you were a risk to.
Yeah, I'm not a risk until I block her for harassing my friends.
Right.
And now I'm a risk because I blocked her.
Totally. Of course, that makes so much sense.
And you can see like everything was amicable before I blocked her. Like you can see in money, I paid her to dog sit $200, which is $100 more than she asked for.
That's another thing she like bringing up. Apparently, you were financially controlling her every time you could, even over petty sums as little as $5.
So there was a time I told her I don't want to give her $5, because we were in the middle of a fight. And then she asks me for $5, I'm going to say, no, I don't want to pay you. I want you to get a job. Okay, yeah, it's true. There was a time I didn't give you $5. Do you remember all the times I paid for everything else? I was the one paying for her, cooking for her, cleaning for her. She didn't work. She doesn't know how to drive. She didn't do anything. And like to then accuse me of financially controlling her, like I am just trying to keep you alive. In her mind, it's financially controlling because I make money.
You said no once.
And she doesn't. And I am the one making the decisions with my own money. Maybe.
Well, yeah.
I could see how that kind of makes sense in her mind.
I mean, I would also have a hard time trying to say that financial control is... Like, even if you weren't having an argument and you just said no, and if it was just one time, for whatever reason, I still wouldn't have called that financial control and sort of like manipulation or whatever you want to put a label on it. If you kick a stink up about hearing no once, then you're a bit spoiled, right?
That's what I mean. There in the folder, you can literally see examples of me spoiling her and her, like, flaunting it.
Bit of a different view of the points you were trying to make. The final question I've got, and I generally don't even know the answer to this one. The woman's shelter situation. Like she referenced this is very quickly, dismisses it in like the next page, saying that, oh, maybe I'll have the words to talk about it one day. What the fuck is this?
She's not talking about it because it's nothing to talk about. After we moved out of the apartment, I told her, hey, you got to like move in with someone else. I can't do this anymore. Like maybe we can stay together, but we can't stay together if we live together. I can't deal with this anymore. And when I say deal with this, I mean all the emotional blackmail and controlling behavior that you're going to see in the folders.
Yes.
So I was like, look, you got to find a place of your own. You can go to your family. You can go to your friends. You can go wherever. Just, you can't be with me. Her friends didn't want to take her. Her family didn't want to take her, even though she had a sister who is 2 hours away. No one wanted to take her except my mother. My mother took her in after I made her move out. And I told my mom, Ma, no, do not take her. Like, we do not need to be financially responsible for her anymore.
No.
And my mom, she sees no sin. She is an angel. She's like, no, Maxie, it's okay. She's just having a hard time. Just let her stay with me for a little bit. I couldn't convince my mom not to. I did not want my mom to do it, but she wouldn't let me make the decision. She made the decision. And
she was adamant. Yeah.
So she lived with my mother. And then while she was living with my mother, she was like, I can't take it here anymore. I can't stand watching Bible television. Because, you know, my mom's a good Christian woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, what other option do you have? She's like, I think I should go to a women's shelter. And I said, great idea. Go to a women's shelter. And keep in mind, I wanted to break up with her at this point. Like, she was...
You want it done. I'm assuming she was keeping tabs with you, but through your mum as well, right?
Exactly.
Like that was the sort of thing going on. And then she was complaining about whatever's on TV or just continuously looking a gift horse in the mouth by the sound of it.
No, yeah, my mom's taking care of her, and she's like, I'd rather go to a women's shelter. I'm like, great, do that.
Go then.
Yeah, go.
That's literally
please.
it. She had enough of your mum being incredibly charitable, and decided that a women's shelter is the best. And because you didn't go, oh no, please no, come back with me, it's all right, I don't want to put you in such a place. Suddenly, that's you being a horrible person, sending her off to a women's shelter.
Exactly. After a year of being with her and realizing I could not do it, I was like, I mean, if your family and your friends don't want to take you in, even though they will happily go on Twitter and talk shit about your ex, but they won't take you in, even though his mother would take you in. Like, what is going on here?
We're in La La Land. It's insanity. Okay, I think I've run out of all my questions on looking at a few things. Was there any allegations that I've missed from anyone that you want to be like, this happened and I want to declare it right now?
I mean, just that one other ex who accused me of rape. Like I said, I am more than happy to dig into that if she wants to bring it up, but so far it looks like she's being respectful and choosing not to lie anymore.
So for the sake of civility, you're wanting to just be like, no, we're
No,
keeping
yeah.
that over there for now.
And I have the proof ready. Like I have a whole folder for this specific girl because I don't even.
She didn't cover her tracks either. Fair enough then. Fair enough. I know my lovely girlfriend behind the camera has at least one question to ask you.
Please.
What was it you want to ask?
Why does he keep sticking his dick in crazy?
So
God, I don't know.
I'm
I'm dumb. I guess I attract these kinds of women because I am an influencer. Maybe.
possibly. It does. There seems to be a high batting average of content creators and crazy girlfriends.
Or crazy girlfriends or boyfriends. Like I know. I mean, yeah. If you have some kind of online status, you have like a few accusations. Like
Yeah, of course.
That just feels like the norm.
I think we all just make mistakes at the end of the day, and love takes us into many different hellholes, and sometimes you find heaven, but you just got to keep digging, I suppose. But I think that's all the questions I have for you, mate.
Dude, thank you so much. Like this has been weighing on me for years. Like I want to show you a post I made because I wanted to make a video years ago about this kind of shit. But
oh yes, I see it.
That's a post I made in response to these types of people. People voted yes, make a video, but I don't know. So it felt like if I were to do it, I would be the bad guy. If I wouldn't do it, I'm the bad guy.
You were putting a rock in a hard place.
And that's
what I hate.
Go on.
Sorry. I was just going to say that's genuinely the reason I hate these sort of things, because you can say it about anyone. You get into an argument and you can be like, oh, okay, you raped me. And if we go by this idea that you've got to believe all victims, well, are you going to try and dismiss it? How dare you? And if you go silent, how dare you? Because that's admitting guilt. If you're on the arse end of an accusation in 2022, you ain't got a leg to stand on. You can't do anything. You're going to be seen badly, even if you defend yourself honestly, or if you try and be a bigger person and let it sort of like die off. You're done because someone else wants to be a bitch, and it also ruins it for other people who are actual victims. Obviously, what you do, you ruin it. They ruin it for everyone else who actually has got a voice to say.
It is so disrespectful to actual victims of these kinds of accusations to just be like, oh yeah, he raped me. What of it? Or yeah, he's a pedophile. You know, like
it's horrible. Like honestly, I would love to be able to believe every one I hear's words. Like I think we all would, right? We'd like to be able to believe anyone who said anything, but we all know that people fucking lie, and people have lied so much about this sort of stuff. Now it's tainted the water, and now you're a bad person if you just so much as question these things, let alone being directly responsible.
For real. I want to thank you because you gave me the opportunity to like defend myself. Like I feel like doing it through you, it is better because I mean, obviously if I were to do it on my channel, it'd be out of place. It'd be out of place. Yeah, exactly. And
at the end of the day, I was the one. I pursued you about the topic because I saw it come up and sort of discuss it anyway. So like, I'm glad you did come to me and let me sort of help pull back the bullshit curtain a little bit and have a little peek behind it. But
I appreciate it, man. Really, like this feels like a huge weight. They have been bothering me for years. Like almost yearly, they would try and come out with a new accusation. Like
any time I'm guessing your name sort of started getting a little bit more buzz, I imagine.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, shocker. I'm glad that we actually get to have this discussion, and if it turns out that you've done like the 200 IQ, like you've played this perfectly and pulled the wool over my eyes, I'm going to say now I'm going to be furious. But I'd like to think I've got a good judge of character. I
appreciate that.
I'm right. I so hope I'm right about this one, which I do think I am, because goddamn, I don't want to get kicked in the bollocks.
No, yeah,
for this.
actually, I'm going to admit right now, yeah, I am a rapist. I am a pedophile. I am an animal abuser. I'm a woman abuser. I am all these different things. And the story's going to change every year, by the way.
Of course it is. The age is going to change, the places, the situations, because they can't even keep track of their own lies, let alone the truth. No, honestly, I do appreciate you giving me the time to talk about this, because it grinds my gears, and I can only imagine how much it ground yours over the last few years. So thank you genuinely for the Google Doc, all of the evidence, and hopefully people might start seeing this and be like, oh, that's actually a load of bullshit.
Yeah, thank you, man. Can I say something?
By all means.
I do not wish any ill will on the people we were talking about in this video.
Yeah, for sure.
I genuinely just want them to leave me alone.
Yeah.
And I mean, I want to leave them alone. I was trying to let it go. Like, as you see with this post I made, people voted for a video and I still didn't make it. I don't want any harm or bullying or harassment coming to these people. I just want to, I mean, they made public accusations. I'm just trying to defend myself.
Yeah. And to give a little bit of extra defense, if you don't mind me talking very briefly about our discussion we've had quietly before this, I know you didn't want to bring this up even then when it started booming again. Like, I know that this wasn't your intent.
No, yeah, I declined your offer at first. Like, I was like, yeah, I think it'd be better, man, like, if we just don't say anything. Because at least there are people out there who are like, there's no evidence, this is all bullshit. I appreciate that. But then there's still the people who are like, he needs to pay for what he did. Yeah. We need to believe victims. Okay, well, if you all believe victims, how about you believe the actual victims, not these liars who are playing trauma Olympics with each other, just trying to get some attention or whatever. They're trying to get revenge on an ex who maybe I wasn't the best boyfriend. I mean,
if your crime is you weren't the best boyfriend, then I think every man needs to be put on the fucking stake. And with that, I think we will wrap up this interview. Thank you very much again, Max, for giving me your time. And I know you've got a very sort of like obscure, unknown channel, so I'll put your link in the description, of course, so people know where to find you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much for your time, dude. And hopefully people will hear the truth.
Thank you so much. Oh, no, this is pandering. Can't do that. Can't pander.
Emotional manipulation. No, puppy in camera. Ban him.
Bro, thank you so much.
No, pleasure's all mine, man. Thank you very much. Could Max have been a better partner? Possibly. Much like every single person in the fucking world could be. Were these unhealthy relationships? What the fuck do you think? And I'm under no illusion that it doesn't take two to tango, but I can't insist on this point more. That Max has been holding back talking about this for over 2 years, whilst they continue to flap their collagen lips anytime he vaguely gets any kind of buzz going online. This is sick, this is evil, and more people need to be talking about this. Because guess what? False accusations don't just ruin the lives of the people you've accused. It ruins the credibility of actual victims. The people who go through hell and back, and when they try and cry out because of people like this who think they can feign a little bit of trauma to get some extra clicks and views, means that their cries for help now go unanswered. So if you're a true feminist, I urge you, hell no, I beg of you, squeeze out toxic femininity as much as you squeeze out toxic masculinity online and in the real world. And let it be known that if you want to start raging and screaming about how horrible I was to these people, bear in mind that I'm going to sleep like a fucking baby when this comes out. Because I'm not like Max. I don't have a kind heart enough to put up with this kind of bullshit. And if there was any criticism I could give to Max on this, apart from his previous taste in partners, is that he might just need to be a bit more colder and harsher to people like this. But if that's true, what kind of sad fucking reality is it that we live in? And with that, I'm going to end the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, want to hit the like video. If you disliked it, just fuck off, really. If you haven't already, I urge you to consider becoming a subscriber and flick my bell to be alerted for when new videos are released. Massive thank yous to my Patreon supporters as per usual, specifically Commander Nazrin, The Eternal J, Mamie, Memeland Security, DJ Uchu, Leslie Bertolino, and the owner of Big Balls Flippy. Thank you all so very much for supporting the channel. Twitter, Discord, links down below as per usual. Feel free to come over, feel free to get a conversation going. Check out a video that's about my head right now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But until that day, take it easy.